Hello and welcome to Dear Esther. I've been wanting to record this game for a while. I bought it last year during the Steam summer sales, and I just played it last weekend. But now I want to provide you guys with a let's play of it, because after I played it I was pretty hyped about it. I was raving about it at the different forum places I go to because it was super awesome. And I really think it was an amazing experience because everything about this game is just beautiful. Um, Dear Esther originally was a Half-Life 2 mod, but then it was developed into its own game back in February 2012 by the Chinese Room, the same people that are working on the sequel to Amnesia. Now this game isn't like scary or anything, so don't run away. If anything, it's a nice experience to have. If you want to play it yourself, I recommend waiting till it's half off because um, a regular playthrough is only just about an hour. And yeah, if you do buy it with the soundtrack because the soundtrack is really nice. But there is a narrative that happens during the gameplay, and I'm just going to have my mic set to push to talk, so I'll just be talking here and there. And yeah, be sure to play at high quality and at full screen if you want the same immersive experience that I'm having right now. With a nice pair of headphones on, of course. Because everything about this game is just really nice. I was really happy with this game. Although, it's just way too short. They need to make more of this, definitely. But, yeah. I really like the experience, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I do. So we shall get started here. There are 4 different chapters, and we're going to start with the first one, the lighthouse. Please, chapter? Yes. Now I'll cut out the loading time, but hopefully we won't run into too much of that.
Dear Esther, I have lost track of how long I have been here, and how many visits I have made overall. Certainly the landmarks are now so familiar to me that I have to remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me. I could stumble blind across these rocks, the edges of these precipices, without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I have always considered that if one is to fall, it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
So here we are. It's not the most gorgeous looking game, but you gotta admit the environments are pretty nice. Here we have the one lighthouse. It's pretty cool. This is when virtual reality would be like pretty epic for a game like this. Because it's just really... Yeah, if they ever do virtual reality, they gotta do like an exploration game first. Virtual reality Amnesia would be so scary. Oh. It's a toilet. I'll try to keep a serious face about this one because I don't mean to make fun of it or anything, but I'm just sort of a goofy guy playing a really nice game. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claim to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Well, alright, that's one of the narratives. Oh, of course you heard it when we started at the lighthouse. But it's a nice, crisp voice, and it's pretty cool. Oh, goodness. Oh! Oh, oh my leg! Ouch. Every day I'm stepping on the beach, stepping on the beach. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Hey, it's a thing. I don't know. I don't know what these are. Some nice water, though. Nice water effects going on. Pretty happy with that.
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
Ah, so poetic. Music so nice. Environment so beautiful. That is my review of this game. If I do say so myself. Also, you could also play this with like a fan on.
I found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, you could probably turn a fan on to get the whole wind experience if you wanted. Maybe put your feet in a bucket of water. Virtual reality. It's the new future. Sort of. I hope. That'd be cool. Focus. I must focus. Ah, this push to talk thing feels just so deliberate. It's like you better have something to say when you push that button.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
He's saying some new things that I haven't heard in my first playthrough, so that's kind of neat. That he'll cycle through some different messages each playthrough. So I guess it makes it worth replaying. So that's pretty cool.
When When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Ah, look at all this foliage. Tasty foliage.
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradiction?
I wonder if that's where I wrecked down there. If that's this guy's boat.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Going
I
into
would
the
leave
cave.
you presents outside your retreat, in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
Man, this guy does not know when to let me talk.
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And that's where the first chapter ends, I believe. But I'm actually going to pick up from the next chapter at another time. I hope you enjoyed the first part of Dear Esther, and I'll see you guys later. Next time. Farewell. I hope you enjoyed.